All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. This is Guardian here from Capital Gear Gaming. I've had so many YouTube accounts that I have a tendency to get them confused a little bit. And welcome back to another tutorial on Modeler. We're going to be doing this time instead of layout. And I've got to say, I'm really proud with my channel currently. We are currently at 41 subscribers, and I've thought my way through, and I've decided that, hey, if I manage to get 50 subscribers, I will gladly do something special, because 50 is probably the most I've ever gotten on any of the channels I had previously. You know, when I was younger, I tried to bring up my channel, and it it failed horrendously, and then I tried again when I was a little bit older, you know, and basically I kept on trying every time I got a little bit older, because I learned more about how to use a computer and take care of a computer. And now that I'm pretty much done school, I just have to get through university. I'm pretty much done school now. I haven't started university yet, and I just finished a week of my first job. I have started working now, so videos might slow down a little bit as I have to work certain weeks, and I'll try and upload as I can on weekends, or weeks that I'm not working and such like that. But let's get into this right now, and I'm really happy with what you guys have been giving me. I've noticed, hopefully Modeler doesn't crash. I'm gonna assume it won't. I've noticed a lot on my videos that I'm getting nothing but likes. I'm getting at least up to 50, if not 100 views, which really helps me keep me going, because that's it's not what I care about. I care about you as the viewer, obviously, but it's actually knowing that I'm getting views that really helps, and it's nice to know that you guys are doing that for me. So I'm gonna continue talking about a few things that I've planned for my channel, aside from hopefully one day introducing my friend who is supposed to be actually part of this channel. You guys haven't met him yet because he hasn't uploaded any videos. The reason why he hasn't uploaded any videos, he doesn't really have the computer for it, and that's fine. I completely agree with him. He could upload videos, but he'd be uploading videos of games from 2006. His computer, he's not the best at taking care of a computer, and that's fine. Some people don't dedicate themselves to that. So he has computer issues. He has issues running games that it shouldn't be having issues running. But while I build this, I'm just gonna bring up a few things I'm gonna talk about the channel here. So this is really more of an informative tutorial than it is going to be informative on the actual channel, less than on what we're doing, which I'm going to be explaining pretty soon here, so don't worry about that. Actually, let's bring it to a good square size of at least 2 meters. Let's give it a nice big size going. So first off, I want to introduce a friend of mine. He's not here now, obviously, but when the time comes, I'll introduce him. His name is Quentin. He's been my lifelong friend. We've known each other since grade 2 or so. Pretty much my entire life I've known him, and he's known me for his entire life. We're best friends, as far as best friends really go. And you know what? I think that'll do. That's a nice polygon count, and I'm pretty sure my computer will handle it pretty well. And yeah, my friend, he hasn't quite uploaded any videos, and I don't blame him at all. But it's about time that he should at least be in a video. So in a couple days, or when I can, really, I'll try and get him in. You'll probably hear him in the background. I'll try and set up the mic, which unfortunately is a flimsy little mic. to allow it to actually capture both of our voices. And we'll play something like, I've got Expendabros, as you might see on here. I've got Expendabros, which we could play because it's a cooperative game. I also have Awesome Knots, which is also cooperative. And these are, Awesome Knots and Expendabros. They're both local co-op, so he can actually sit beside me and we can play. I can hook up a controller or whatever, right? So hopefully I'll be getting to do that pretty soon. Another thing that I might end up changing is I want to go more into games. So for those of you that have watched my tutorials and know, oh, this should be a lot, not longer, but yeah, I suppose it's technically longer, isn't it? For those of you who do know me for my tutorials, I need to urge you that I don't do just tutorials. I also do gameplay videos. I want to do reviews as well, which I'll probably be getting into at one point. Oh crap, I didn't mean to do that one. Ooh. So I'm gonna click this and save it. Let's just call it, this is the wrong folder. Let's just do, let's actually create a folder for tutorials, because that would just keep me nicely well organized. Let's just call this, it's an object, it doesn't matter what it really is. We're gonna have to name it first though. So there's going to be a few changes. So if something does change, I don't really know what the changes are really going to be about, but hopefully they won't be too drastic for some of you, because I know not everybody likes heavy change on things. I wonder if there's a preset texture for this. There might be. I always, for anybody who's new to LightWave or is watching my tutorials, to say the least, I recommend using the presets panel when you can and when it's best to be used. For example, small things, little details, maybe even sometimes big things, because the benefit of the preset panel is that it's not going to take up any more space than it already is, because for the most part it's not even real textures, it's just like fake textures that are put in. So the huge benefit really is that you don't have to go out and you don't have to find a picture online and then download the picture and then put it in Photoshop and do all that stuff. It's really nice to have this preset panel just to look through it and see what you might find. You might find something nice. Frog skin, can't do. Green goo, no. I guess not that, it's probably nature then. Leaf might work. There we go, we've got a nice grass texture here. And I assume that will be procedurally generated. Let's take our bump here and let's boost it a little bit to get more of a rough terrain there. Let's actually take this and use it as a specularity for now. Ooh, why are those reversed? Interesting. They're heavily reversed, aren't they? Oh, it's because, yeah, specularity. What am I thinking about? Just because we want to add a little bit of shininess to it. Let's not add that much. Just, yeah, there we go. That might work. We might want to reduce the color a bit too. Make it a bit darker. There we go. So, sorry, my apology. So I'll be including my friend pretty soon. He'll be joining at least one video, because I just want him to be there. I want you guys to know him. I want you guys to see him, see what he's like. And our videos will be separate, which means, well, they'll be on the same channel, but they will be separate. So before you even click on the video, you'll know who it's going to be playing, who is going to be talking. For example, on a video it'll say Guardian Plays or something like that. For him it'll say Quentin Plays, and so on and so forth. So it'll be organized in a sense that it'll let you know who is talking and who is doing the playthrough at the time. And if it's both of us at the same time, like it will be pretty soon here, it'll actually say Capital Gear Gaming Plays. So it's the entire group. And for all I know, I could expand. I could have more people join us. So if you are a fellow video maker or something like that, we could form a group if you like. If not, that's fine. I have no problems with that. And let's save this again just to make sure, because it's LightWave. You never know what might happen, might not happen. Let's close it down. Let's bring up a layout here. So I'm going to show you the first way of doing this. Now you could be asking, what are you doing? And I'll answer that right now. I'm sure I had a few other things to say, but you know, if I forgot, then it probably isn't really that important. So let's aim this down. Let's load up our object, which was II or something like that. Tutorial or TT. So what this is going to be is, this is actually going to be a oh fuck, I just realized its texture is gonna, no, it won't be too bad, I suppose. So this is a tutorial. Well, I'm sure you read the flippin' title already, but we're doing ground and terrain. I mean, I suppose ground is really the same way of saying that. I just want to see what this texture looks like, so I'm going to quickly do a render of a frame just to get a look at what this texture has given me. And it's pretty horrible. However, that's actually not that bad, because we're not going to be using that as our plain grass. We're actually going to be using, this is a full tutorial, so this could end up being more than an hour long. That's why I started off by saying a few things. But we're going to be including FiberFX in this. So it's going to be ground/terrain plus FiberFX to create physical, nice looking grass. Let's grab this object and see if we have smoothing properly on. Yeah, we do, because it kind of looked like it might have not. So we got that, and it's not bad looking. Even as it is, if you're a lone producer and you're developing a film for the first time, it's really not that bad. So let's grab this. Let's enter P for properties once you selected it, and we're going to go to the deform tab. So this is how you're going to create terrain, and there's multiple ways of doing it, but this is one of the quickest, easiest way to just create terrain, just to get something out. And that is to go to deform map or deform tab. Now this has to be subpatched. If it's not subpatched, in other words, tab key, if you can't remember what subpatched means, then it will become jaggedy and it won't look properly. And then from deform, go to displacement map. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this on the y-axis because we want to displace it up and down. And we're going to set it to a procedural texture. Now when you do this, it's going to change it, as you can see. And we're already getting a pretty nice little sort of heavy hill type of thing. And I mean, yeah, you kind of get that, which is not too bad. My most sincere apologies. I pressed F9 to render the frame. I hate that so much. It's already looking all right. It's not too bad. Render a frame in case you didn't see that. You know, it's a bit jaggedy. You've got some messed up shadows because the light is in a bit of a strange direction. Actually, I suppose that's technically a proper shadow, but it's still in a weird direction. And you know, it's not too horrible when you look at it. And but we can make it better. We can change it up till you get something that you like. And I'm gonna go for big hills so that we can have a nice volley of grass going across. And the way we're gonna do that is we're gonna increase the scale. Let's try 4 meters all sides. Oh, there we go. Now we're getting some nice, more flat out, stretched out hills here. And now if you take this to the extreme, it will mess up your texture. So you have to be a little bit careful about how far. This is not taking it very far at all. But just a word of warning, if you're gonna create hills like this, don't push it, because it will lose a lot of its texture, which is not a huge deal because we're going to be covering it in grass, but still just keep that in mind. Let's expand it just a little bit more. Let's try 5 meters. And let's raise them up by increasing their texture value. You could try all these different textures. You have all sorts of different things. I like using turbulence for hills. They're nice. And if you want, you can use where is it? Dented. Dented is really good for mountains, so I'd recommend that for mountains. And you can actually add multiple layers to this, and you can have one layer over another layer and just have multiple procedural generated things. You can have like hills and then like this mountain stuck inside of it. Another way you could do that is just have two landscapes. If you're too lazy to deal with layers, because layers are a bit confusing in some cases, if you're too lazy, you can always just, you know, create a second one of these and then just use it as dented and then raise it up and it'll stick out of the ground. Any rate, we've got it's pretty nice here. So what we're going to do is we're going to increase this frequency. Will let you kind of smoothen it out a little bit more. You don't always want that, because, and if you go too far, it will crescent out. It doesn't make a huge difference at one point, but 0 is very smooth. Sometimes you might like that, sometimes you might not. I kind of like 1 because it just adds a little bit of detail. We can add a little bit of contrast, and that'll kind of give it a bit more roughness to it. If you want, like, maybe this was water beforehand, like maybe this is like on Mars or something like that, and these used to be ravines of water. That would be really nice. You can see here also what it's doing is contrast is just like how much is it going to fade in, how much is it going to fade out, and generally you want some, because this is also pushing it down and pushing it up. So if you have too little, it's going to be pretty much flat, so you don't really want that. So just give it a little bit, just see how much detail you can kind of push in there before it starts messing up a bit. That looks pretty nice right there. You can add a bit small power. Small power is a bit more randomization. It kind of adds a bit more push. It pushes down in some areas, you know, it just kind of adds a little bit of detail. You could even add another layer and make it really small, and then add a bunch of these little bumps. That'd be really nice for really rocky surface, like maybe the moon or something like that. Any rate, what we want to do is we're going to actually move this up a bit by increasing this value. Generally, I increase this value, then play with these, but I just wanted to show you these first. So this will actually increase the strength of this procedurally generated value. So as we increase this, the strength of this increases, which causes this. This is almost like a bump map. So the stronger it becomes, the more it'll push down and push up to give it that three-dimensional look. So obviously I can just push it really far, which causes it to stretch out so much that it kind of deforms. I don't want too much. I think we have a bit too much contrast there, because I don't quite like it being so unsmooth. Let's reduce that a little bit too. Let's bring it out. We're looking at a bit too. Reduce the contrast a bit more. Yeah, let's make it bigger too. Oh, that's looking pretty nice so far. You know what? Bigger. There we go. Now we're getting nice big hills. That's what I wanted. Now we can also play with the position, and that'll just simply move where this procedurally generated map is, because the procedurally generated map is infinite. We can move this around and we can see that it is truly infinite. You don't really need this for anything, for any guideline. You just need to look at the colors and stuff and the differences. But this is infinite. You can keep on going forever and ever and ever, and it will never stop, because it's a procedurally generated map. So There's a lot of color I can contrast off of. So we can move this around a bit. Like so. And we can move the entire thing as much as we want. We don't have any limitations for that. But what I'm thinking is let's actually increase this to about 12. So we have a nice flat surface there. We're getting a bit of a flat surface there. Let's increase this to 12 as well. Let's add a bit of contrast. No, let's actually reduce the contrast a bit, but up this a bit. Right, so now we got that. Let's actually take our camera and let's move it in. We're actually looking at 7 minutes. We're actually doing pretty good for time, surprisingly. Well, actually, no, we're at like 17, maybe 20. Now let's reduce the square size here. Let's try 10. I just want to get really close to the ground. Let's actually try 1 and see if we can really get close to the ground. Oh yeah, now the hill's giant. See, I want a nice scene. Oh boy, look at that. So this is easy terrain. This is a good way to fill up the screen without having to develop a big background or anything like that, or develop an entire world for that matter. You can see all of our polygons here, and of course, because of the division, because of the division order, subdivision order, it subdivides first before it deforms. So this is actually more polygons than what we started with. That's why it's so detailed and nice looking. So make sure your terrain is moderately high polygon. You know, something you think your computer can handle. Don't push it. You know, if you really want to create stuff like Call of Duty, you know, Black Ops or Assassin's Creed, whatever it happens to be, then you're gonna need a better computer, and I mean much better. Like, don't think that if you can run Assassin's Creed, you can render like Assassin's Creed, because those are two very different things. It's a difference between your computer reading information and calculating information. And in this case, we're calculating information, and it will take 4 times the resources. So instead of that i7, I suggest toting a 8 core. Instead of 8 gigs of RAM, I recommend 16. Instead of you know, a GT 9800, which is a decent graphics card. It truly is. It's a bit outdated now, but it is a decent graphics card altogether. I would recommend something like what I've got. I've got a GTX 650. And LightWave isn't that demanding, but LightWave also has no limits. You can keep on adding polygons and keep on adding until it's just full. So there's no limitation to LightWave like there is with any other 3D program. I kind of like this scene here, but I want to keep this out of the way because this will be black, and the reason why is because, or not black, but it'll be because this is ground space. So we want to make sure that all we see is ground, the ground that we created, not the void that's off to the side. So we have to aim it properly. I kind of like seeing these different hills poking up and down. It's quite nice. And there we go. So let's actually move it back, because you know what? The more we see, the better it's probably going to look. And let's move a bit that way. And we're going to take this camera and we're going to do some fun stuff with it. We're actually going to take it and move it away here. Well, we don't have to move it, but I mean, it just helps getting it out of the way. We're going to move it to about here. Move it to here. It helps also getting an image of where it is. And we're going to create some shadows on our side because I want to create some contrast. And let's do. As you can see, we're not getting quite enough shadow, so let's talk more shadow here. Let's Let's render. It's looking a bit better, but we have way too much specularity because, well, that's not quite realistic. So let's go into the surface editor and let's click our ground. And specularity is a bit too far. So let's try 0.1 and let's increase that to about 96 and see what we get from there. It's a little bit better. Let's increase it to about 99. Let's see what, oh, sorry. Let's see what. Okay, that value actually doesn't quite change very much. So let's try 0.1 and see what we get. It's not bad. I don't mind that. It's just, you can see here it's too shiny, and you can imagine it's probably too shiny there too as well. So I don't quite like that. Obviously we're not going to be with a reflection. We don't want any reflection in there. We can reduce this back to 0 and see what that. See, it's gonna affect the specularity because that's how it works. Honestly, I did kind of like it like that before. See what we get. Probably nothing. Or even. And that'll be 2 right here. That's going to be insane. Oh my god. That's not pretty. Let's go back to 100. Oh god, it's fucked too. That's pretty funny. Oh wait, I went up to 100 specularity. What am I doing? I'm insane. Sorry guys. I'm just playing around, really. It's all going to be covered with grass. So who gives a fuck? I actually wouldn't mind a little bit more shadow, and let's actually raise it up a bit like that, and let's bring it over a bit like that. And yes, it is going to be pretty dark, and that's pretty fine with me. You can see we get nice shadow right there. So we're actually going to take this light, and I'm going to teach you a little bit about a different type of light. We're going to try and deal with the dome light. These things I really hate. But we'll see if we can get it working properly. If you can get it working properly, it is glorious. So let's render the frame and see what we get. And yes, I do know what I'm doing, so don't worry. Oh shit, dude. Well, doesn't that look wrong? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? So we're going to take the angle and we're going to change it to 5 instead of 90. You would think they would, you know, not put 90 default. A little bit better. It's still pretty noisy there where the shadow is. Let's just see about 2. It's a little bit softer. Can we do 0? I don't know if we can. Oh, we can. Yeah, but then that makes it sharp. Let's try 0.5. My apologies. Well, that didn't work. I don't know what that is. So I guess mapping only works if you have a HDR image. So I guess we're not going to do that because I don't have an HDR image for this type of field. Now if we go into render globals, hopefully we should be able to first of all, real shadows in real life are a slight blue. No, I said a slight blue. They have a tinge of blue. Sure thing. Let's see if we can get noise reduction. See if help. Let's try some final gather. That'll render better. this is literally just me playing around, seeing what I can do to try and soften that shadow. If normally you actually use them in conjunction with each other. No, I don't like that. Oh well. I haven't quite learnt that to the best. Let's try an area light and see what we get from that. Whoa, I have no idea how these things work then, because that's confusing as fuck. Well, let's decrease the light intensity and see if we really soft shadow. Wait, it takes quite a lot longer. I think it's so soft that it just like doesn't work whatsoever. Let's see about reducing it that way. Huh. Alright, so we're not doing that. Alright then, I'm fine with a distant. Or is that why? That might have been why. It works better now. Not really. I'm not professional when it comes to these, especially. These are a bit. These different types of lights are kind of confusing. So let's stick with a distant. It's a lot more basic. Do what you do. Do what you say. And let's get a nice 100% on there. And do I see up this? See, we're getting some bad shadows right there. Let's raise it just a bit more, try and connect it. See about getting a couple of hot spots there. Oh, that looks bad. Let's not do that. Just to let you guys know, when it comes to LightWave and other 3D programs similar to it, lighting is key. It is unbelievably the key to all of your success. If you cannot get your lighting correct, you will fail miserably on everything. Generally, space lighting is pretty easy. Oh, I forgot to mention, my fan is on behind me and above me, so if you do hear something, it's not your headset or anything. Sorry about that, I should have mentioned that much earlier, but I did sort of forget it. No, we're creating more of those ucky shadows. I don't like those. Let's bring this down. Let's bring it up just a bit. Try rendering that. So we do have radiosity on. I don't think we really should, but we do. Okay, that's not too horrible. That'll be covered by grass, definitely. That's not too bad. I wouldn't mind more shadow on that. Let's see if we can play with a light. I don't really want to add more stuff, but we have the ability and we have the power. There you go. It'll help darken everything. Let's see if that's a little bit better. It might be. It's got a little bit more shadow there, some contrast here. Yeah, I'm alright with that. I think that'll do. Alright, so let's play with our sky. Let's get that working, because we might as well, just to help us with the view. and that's under backdrop. Let's add an environment. You can use a gradient backdrop. It's much faster, but with add environment, we can actually create. We don't want Skytracer. We want Skytracer 2, I believe. Yeah. With add environment, we can actually create clouds, which are pretty nice. They do take a long time to render, so they're really a final render type of thing. But it's not too horrible if you got moderately good color. As you'll see, it'll take a little while, especially if I have radiosity on. I'm not gonna bother with radiosity right now. It's a bit of a pointless thing to have open. Let's enter radiosity and let's turn that off. That's what we get. It should be you know, a pretty good looking scene actually, and it's not bad. Yeah, I don't mind that. It's pretty good. And we can have our sun right here. If we enter properties, we can give it a lens flare. Now, you know, you can use LightWave's lens flares. It's perfectly fine. It's a nice set of lens flares, but they do kinda suck. They're not the greatest things in the world, and there's better out there. First of all, we're getting rid of the red glow, central ring, and central glow. We're also getting rid of the random streaks, and we're going to plop in an anamorphic streak. We are also going to make sure that's all turned off, and we're going to increase the intensity, hopefully to 100%, and it should look fine. Let's run and see what we get. As you can see, we get nothing, which is, you know, shit like that will happen. You have to play around with it a bit. Reflections. We might require a glow in order to get that working properly, which is fine, I suppose. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take this into After Effects, and I'm going to use After to create proper lens flares, because After Effects can have, it's more like, what's known as I can't remember actually. I've forgotten what they're called. Luckily for me, I can move this anywhere and it won't matter because it's a distant light, not a any other type of light, so it's just the shadows. But After Effects has Video Copilot, which is very powerful for when you want to create nice looking reflections and lens effects and stuff like that, which I personally really enjoy. I love those. Am I even getting my anamorphic? I don't think I am. It's a bit of a nuisance. I don't know how to do one in After Effects. Well, I mean, I'm sure I could figure it out, but it's kind of annoying, to be honest. Actually, we'd want it a bit over there, yeah. Let's put it down there. See what we get now. We want it below that cloud, otherwise we'll have issues with it. Come on, computer. There you go. Good enough, I think. Wow, my thing just does not have proper lens flare. Is that because it's not facing us? Shit, it's not even facing us. What? Or is it? Hold on. Let's exit that, exit that, exit that. I'd be daft if it wasn't facing us. Motherfucker, it wasn't even facing us. That would explain why, I believe. I believe for anamorphic flares you need it to be facing you, I think. Maybe not, huh? Alright then. I've got our face in the right direction, so I'm thinking it should be fine. I've never quite encountered that issue before. It usually always gives me a proper... Huh. Interesting. Well, as long as I know where my flare is, I'll probably set it up in After Effects. So we have that working, we have clouds working, we have our terrain moderately set up. Let's enter effects, and we're going to go into Fiber. Woo! This stuff crashes your computer like crazy. So, I recommend saving. I truly do. FiberFX will crash everything. So be careful about it. We can activate it. I think you want to, because we have it as an object, we have to go down and then activate the name. So we name this ground, so we have to activate that as well, because that's what we want to specifically activate under this object. Which means, like, say if I had an object named gorilla, and it had, you know, eyes, mouth, nose, toes, and then it had body. Well, I'd want to cover the body in hair, not the other stuff. So this is how they separate it. You can click on this, and this will OpenGL show it. And there we go, we have grass. It's not the best looking grass, and it's gonna kill my FPS, but that's alright. We're gonna reduce this to about 5%. And how are we doing for FPS? Perfect. So that's a way to fix your FPS. It might still crash though, so you have to be a bit careful. It's obviously way too long, so we're gonna, and its gravity is a bit too high, so we're gonna just play with that a bit. We're gonna let it raise up some, and that might do. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to go into styling. You want scale. Let's reduce that to about 30. So close. God damn it. Let's try 3. Alright. Let's take our camera and let's raise it up a bit just so that we can see above our grass. Let's take a random length and we're going to reduce it a bit. Let's actually bring it to 30. We want 0 stray. Actually, we might want a little bit. That'll help keep a bit of randomness, but we want 0 kink. Kink is it being, well, kinky, look at it. It kind of bends like it's been broken in certain places. I like 0 because grass is not, especially a field, is not usually, you know, so fucked up. Let's take our scale and let's increase it a bit more. Awesome. That looks pretty good. Stray, again, let's just stick with 1%. Actually, let's see if we can crank it. See how much of a result we get. It's not affecting a huge bunch. What else do we have? Not much. We don't have to worry about that too much. Awesome. We don't want too much cluster, so let's actually we do, because the more cluster, the more it's going to sort of copy. Yeah, you can see it sort of copies in certain, well, not copies it, well, yeah, it clusters in certain areas. So the more you cluster it, the less density that you're going to need in order to actually cover your whole area. So that's pretty good right there. And if I actually cluster up 4 and then increase this even more, I can try. See, I'm creating clusters, moderately large clusters with a low fiber density. So when I do crank this up a bit, it's going to fill it up even more than normal. So instead of having to crank this up to, you know, 60%, I might have to crank it up only up to 50, maybe 55, right? Like it can make a difference if you, and that's all the difference in the world for your computer, especially. So that's always a nice thing. You can have different styles, but I don't know how to save them properly. They seem to not always work very well, which is a bit of a shame. You can have multiple edges. I don't know why you don't really want to, especially for grass. If you're doing something like branches, maybe. It's pretty smart. I like that gravity. That's good. So all we have to do is go into rendering, and we have color. So we're gonna... So base color 1, I think, is the very bottom. I might be wrong. And we're gonna go with a very dark green. Base color 2, we're gonna go with a slightly brighter green. Then tip color 1, I think, might be the very top. We're gonna go with a pretty bright green. And tip color 2, we're going to go with a moderately darker green. Shading. Now when it comes to grass, I like my grass very transparent. It just looks soft, it looks nice, it looks very dreamy. So let's go 45% transparency. Not a huge lot you can add. As usual, if you have values, they should usually add up to 100%. It's the same here. Diffuse and specularity should always add up to 100%. So we're actually going to take this and reduce it to 20. And that will make it a bit darker. So if we want to, we can take this and we can take it and reduce it to about 70 instead. And we'll take this and increase it to 30, and I'll give it a little bit more brightness on the edge. So this looks awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and change it up to about 20. I'm going to take it bit by bit, not taking it too far. Right. Let's try 4 to 5. See, I'm starting to get some in the corner here. That's nice. That's nice. Now we're getting a nice bunch over there. Let's try 50. We don't want too many in front of our screen here. We want to be able to see the individual ones in front of our screen. That's looking nice. I like that. That's a nice huge bush all on there. And we can see that this is a separate hill because it's going with its own thickness, and that's very thick because that's multiple hills peeking down. This is looking pretty good to me. Now, we haven't seen it in render, and that's perfectly fine. So we're going to turn that off because it will slow our computer down tons. We're just going to take a quick render of what the final project is going to look like. For a second there, I thought it crashed. That's scary. Yeah, I've got both my fans right now. It's a bit cold in Canada. We have hot summers and cold in long winters, which is insane. It was like, I don't know, 30, maybe 40 above Celsius this afternoon. And it's 5 a.m. now, and it still hasn't changed like any bit. So you can see that we are clearly not having enough. And also, for some reason, it's gone off and messed up my shadows too, eh? So let's make it a bit brighter then. Let's go back into our FiberFX. Let's replace it on, and let's really crank this thing then. Let's try 80%. Just push it. Sometimes you gotta. Let's cluster them in 6s. maybe not. Let's see what happens if we lower that down to say maybe 3. And let's crank this to 150. It changes. You have to play around with it until you get something that you enjoy, that you like, and that you want to use. That's really what it comes down to. So let's try changing this up then. Let's make this bright. Make that a bit darker. You can see that it's slowing down a ton. Let's make that just a bit brighter. Let's see what we could do with this point light here. Let's try and add a bit more brightness to here while maintaining some darkness. Yeah, maybe like that. That might be pretty nice actually. Let's give it a quick render. You just gotta test things out, see what you get. That's really what it's all about. It's all LightWave is about. Try different things. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't, maybe you'll get it in. The good community is they are not going to taunt you. Absolutely, go on forums, ask questions, ask the developers questions. They are very nice people. They're actually very helpful. They don't complain or, you know, look at your work and say, "Oh, that looks like shit." Man, I'm not liking that ground texture at all. I probably would have gone on the online and actually gotten a proper grass texture. This is also so dark, even though it looks so bright. So let's actually grab this and point it further down, and let's brighten this up. See if we can get some brighter ground. And yeah, like, I mean, I really recommend going up and checking out their forum stuff, and, you know, ask diverse questions, because I'm going to cover every single little detail about LightWave. I could just cover the stuff that I know, or the stuff that I might even not know. I might learn things while I'm doing this, and it's all about, you know, what you're willing to learn. Really, is what it comes down to. Because you can ask them anything. You can ask them, "How can I shoot a guy?" Well, I mean, that's pretty broad, but that pretty much comes down to it. Alright, I think we don't have enough brightness, is really what I'm thinking. So let's actually take this point here and let's move it into here in front of our camera. Because I swear that is just not bright enough. It really looks dull and dark. Oh, that was my mistake. I think those FiberFX, I believe, especially requires light, especially because it needs light to pass through and to do all stuff it does. I mean, play with me, because you can get really nice looking graph, nice looking hair with FiberFX. And really, this is tutorial. I'm just gonna start rambling on about stuff that's gonna happen with the channel. So yeah, 50 subscribers, and I'd be happy to do something special. I'm thinking maybe a that's better. That's more like it. My God, look at all that grass. Now all we have to do is just crank the fucking hell out of that grass. I shouldn't have made it so massive. I should have made this smaller. You see my computer's a bit suffering because of it. Yeah, let's push it. See how far we can take this thing before layout crashes. Yeah. Let's do a quick save then. So plans. Yeah, 50 subscribers, you know, I might do a scary game. I might do something a little bit more unique. Maybe even a unique tutorial. I've got some cool things in mind. It's really up to you guys. If you want me to do a scary game, you know, you could even send the game yourself. You could request one. Because I don't know that many, but I do know a few. Unfortunately, I've seen a lot of them too. But I'm sure that wouldn't matter. I'm pretty much a pussy, anyways. What else is there? You know, we're gonna have events of friends hopefully pretty soon here. I'll call them because, you know, I'm pretty much done now. I'm not working the rest of this week, so I'm free. This is what I mind covering up. I want to get him onto a game and just record it by himself. Some video up. I might do a couple of reviews too, I'm thinking. I'm also going to be creating a intro for our videos from now on. And it'll be for our videos in general, just for even Quentin's and mine. And this is looking great. This is, you know, what you would expect. I do have a pretty large field here. Like it's pretty big. This is really more of a sky shot type of thing because it's a large field. But if I take FiberFX and just fucking, oh my god, this is gonna kill my computer. Sorry, computer. I know you're gonna be in pain. I know. And let's see about making it look pretty. Let's get Monte Carlo going, because Monte Carlo is the quality one. Let's go to, I think that'll do for that. Let's get 17 on there. Let's get 1280 by 720. Let's take the camera and move it slightly down. Crap, eh? Let's take this and just reduce it just a little bit. I do want that, honestly, but you can see that that's in the way and that's in the way. That's a shame. It's not a big deal. Could care less. So what else is there? Not a huge lot. Also, we don't need much sampling because we're using tip transparency, if you remember correctly. So we don't need very much anti-aliasing for the FiberFX. It'll do fine without it, for the most part. If you have other objects, then yeah, you're going to need anti-aliasing, but if it's just a field, then you don't really need it. If you're that picky, you know, you might see some aliasing, so you might want to get rid of it, but, and I think it's crashed it, but it might just be loading. You know, that's how things work. So there's not a huge lot to talk about because, you know, I haven't got it all in my mind so far. I will be buying a laptop with my work money if I truly get around to it. Hopefully I will be pretty soon. Save up a lot, and I mean a lot, at least, you know, 1,500 or something like that, just to get a really good laptop, something with an i7 or something like that, with a, you know, GTM whatever graphics card, something good with like maybe 8 gigs of RAM, so I can do these renders faster, I can play games better, and I can record better, you know, all the good stuff. Either that, or I'll save up for a new computer altogether. I kind of want a laptop because I'm going to NATE for digital media and IT, so that's sort of computer stuff. So I'm thinking I might need a laptop. A laptop might be useful to get schoolwork done. But don't know, I'm still deciding. I'm kind of leaning towards a new PC because that would be nice, and I could give my current one to my friend, and they have no excuse for not bringing up videos, because he's a nice guy. I'm sure you can make videos. He hasn't done it before. Well, he kind of has, but he hasn't quite fully done it himself. So he's a bit unfamiliar with it. He's not that welcoming to it. You know, he even finds literally one voice weird, which it is weird. It's not from voice. That's what you gotta live. But yeah, extremely happy with what you guys are doing lately. You've got me tons of views. I've got 3 subscribers now. That's more than I've ever before, believe it or not. You know, all the videos I've made, especially on LightWave, just likes, and then it's jump views. And I'm getting a lot of feedback from you. A couple, one for enough for a fact. That's you know, this is what this does. You know, kind of correcting me almost, and that's fine. I don't mind at all. Praise. Thank you. I really can't thank you enough for doing stuff like that. It's a real pleasure to be making this for you guys. I'm so happy to be watching. Even if you watch them 50 times, I don't know, because pretty long. You know, it's sort of the type that you watch minutes of break and what there's. What I recommend, especially if you have dual monitors, you know, then listen to in the background, or you know, switch back and forth and try to follow on a LightWave. There's not a huge amount to say. Aside from the fact that this is taking a long time, which is kind of expected. I make an animation of this without a server, or at least an 8-core system to try and push it through. But so my plan of what we're going to do with the channel, and like I said, there's going to be a new intro. You know, hopefully I'll get 50 subscribers, and I'll try and keep my eye on it. I might be a few days late or whatever, but I'll try and keep my eye on it, and hopefully I'll see it. It's almost done, and I'll try and get the Expendables on. Maybe I'll get a few reviews on some of the games I've got in my list, because I do have a lot now, and you know, it'll be nice to get some of those games up and running for videos at least. And you see that, especially that in the background, that isn't nice looking. It's not amazing looking, but it certainly is nice. Up here you can see that the texture is kind of bad. You know, you don't really want to touch it, that sort of thing. But you got really soft brushes all the way along, really soft. And you have your sun there. And in After Effects, I would add some really nice lens flares, maybe to try and distract the viewer from this, because that's pretty bad. And aside from that, I like it. I think it's cool. I won't be actually adding lens flares. This is not a tutorial for After Effects. Sorry guys, but you're gonna have to look somewhere else for those. I don't like After Effects that much. After Effects is powerful, but it's a pain in the ass to use, so I'm not really a fan of it. And so from here on, we're done. The tutorial's over. You can close down or whatever. But I'm just going to go over a few things that's going to happen. You know, a few things that I'm going to be doing, because I'm not quite finished yet. Almost there. I'm just going to double check how long we're going for. 52, so we're definitely over an hour now. But let's see, what else do we have? So I'm going to get my friend in. I have 50 subscribers, whatever thing that's going to happen. I might even do Minecraft if I get 50 subscribers. And if I do Minecraft, it's going to be an ongoing series. It's not going to just stop after the one video, because Minecraft is, you know, one of those games where if you start it, you can't just stop it. It's not really that smart of an idea. And if I do Minecraft, it's going to be the Yogscast Complete Pack, which is a mod that contains all the mods you could ever want. And I'll try and learn my way through that. I'll probably suck horribly at it though. As for things about LightWave and, you know, where we're going with that, I'm going to continue on. I might do a couple things special for it. For example, I can show you how to create sort of a mud effect. I can show you how to create a just an interesting effect, you know. A few other effects I've got in my mind. There's some cool stuff that you can do. I might even show you guys the tree plugin. I might even send a link as well in that video of the tree plugin that'll let you create trees much easier, just like that, instead of creating them by hand, which takes forever. What else is there? You know, there's not a huge lot that I can really think of right now, but you know, I've been wanting to sort of do a let's play of Assassin's Creed. You know, I can only, my computer can only handle up to 3, or no, maybe not 3 even. At least up to Revelations, I know I can handle. But the PC ports of Assassin's Creed are not that great. They're not the best in the world, so they're kind of iffy. I recently bought Planetary Annihilation, so we could get a bit into that. And, you know, for all those people who have been watching my LightWave videos, you know, if you like me as a commentator at all, you know, this is my attitude. This is what you get out of me. I'm not gonna, I might change a little bit because, you know, my attitude during LightWave tutorial is going to be slightly different than when I'm in game. But certainly, if you watched my tutorials and you like my commenting, you know, you like my style, it's a bit more, it may be a little, you know, a little bit more serious, and not everybody likes that. People have a tendency to like, you know, your PewDiePie and shit like that. Unfortunately, no, I'm sorry, but I don't like him because he overreacts to things too often, unfortunately. It's just not my style of thing. You know, I like the occasional overreact, sure, but not 24/7. It's flipping annoying. It gets to the point where it's too fake to not notice. And oh man, you can just see my poor GPU is at 47 degrees Celsius. That's pretty hot. Hopefully it doesn't get any hotter than that, because that's pretty damn hot. Oh man, that's not even at 100% usage either. That's at 0%. That's pretty bad, actually. I'll have to look into trying to cool this room down a bit more. How are we doing for this? My CPU is all at 30, and at 100% usually goes up to roughly 40, so that's not too horrible. But man, my GPU is just dying. Poor thing. So that's about it. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video so far. Please do tune in for more, and if you've come here for, you know, from LightWave and for LightWave, please do check out my other videos. You know, I've got gameplay videos, let's play videos. I will be having reviews hopefully pretty soon, you know, and stuff like that. And you know, if you don't like me, you might like Quentin. He might get used to it, and he might be a little bit more silly. But generally, when I play games, I'm actually good at games, and I don't take it like massively seriously. But you know, I just kind of like, you know, I play the game. I have fun, right? And I hope you guys have enjoyed the tutorial. Please, once again, tune in for more. Rate, comment, subscribe. And this is The Guardian, signing out.